It's Kath Breen.
Kath Breen.
Oh, she's been on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, so you asked her before me.
yeah. No, I asked you, and you're like, oh, I don't have much to say. Kath's got more to say, so she said,
no, because when you asked Rachel, because you've been asking Rachel, I said, I'm going to be on the podcast. She said, yeah, he's asked me heaps. I'm like, okay. Right, okay.
Don't feel special.
Yeah, right. It's like, finally, I made it. I made it in this church.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch podcast. It is very exciting to be back here. We record this on a Friday.
A vampire. It is very
Welcome
exciting.
back to the Setsvest studio in Romania. We're here. And Braden, you're here too.
Oh, it's good. Thank you for letting me know.
Welcome. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm finished exams for the year. So I went,
Party time.
yeah, exactly.
Don't talk until we
party
start.
time. Wow.
Just want to be a part of the gang.
Wow.
I thought I was in.
No,
now I'm on
who's in
now
charge
I'm on the
now?
podcast. I thought I was in the gang. Apparently I'm not
still
yet.
talking.
I'll just sit over here.
Well, I mean, like, now that you're speaking, thanks very much for having us on this podcast, Chris.
No, thank you. Thanks for letting us on here. I'm very excited to be on here because no one's ever asked me to be on a podcast before.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, I think everyone's a bit nervous about what I'm going to say. Be a bit controversial.
Oh, a bit nervous.
No, because I really love wrestling. You know, they're
Yes.
like not the real wrestling Olympics and stuff, but like the
WWE.
WWE.
Yep.
Real wrestling.
And one of the sayings they use a lot is controversy creates cash. So I'm thinking, you guys have finally asked me because the ratings are down, or the downloads are down. So let's bring on some controversy.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
We need a pipe bomb.
Yeah, so here I am. So
Pipe bomb?
Pipe bomb.
What does that mean?
Oh, dude, the pipe bomb promo. Look it up.
CM Punk, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
sorry.
One of the best.
I mean,
Changed
I
the
used to
industry.
watch wrestling when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I still watch it, and the girls watch it as well. So
oh, your daughters, you mean?
yeah. I got 4 kids.
Are you including,
So I got-
including your wife in that?
No, I got Callie.
Yes.
Callie,
Yeah.
what is she, 11?
Yeah.
Pippa, 9. Bonnie, 5. And then the Panthers is my baby.
There's like a baby panther next to you. You're just like stroking it. Like, yes, get Vince McMahon.
Rachel knew that when she was marrying me. She was
Yeah.
marrying me and 17 other men.
Well, you did have your reception at Panthers. So.
We did. 13 years ago. We're still together for some reason. So actually, it's really funny. I realized the other day that Rachel wakes up grumpy every morning, whereas I tend to let the other dwarfs sleep in.
This is not a
and that's me for the
for you to keep throwing out your stupid jokes.
Hey, I'm sure we'll get to it one day, but like in this, but I'm probably one of the only ones that has done a Soulies talk and started with a dirty joke and got away with it.
Let's hold on to that because it's part of the history. So I reckon
I wonder if I could say it later or it's going to get beeped out.
we just beat
you
the
just
whole
say
thing.
it, and
Yeah.
Dave's up.
It made sense.
It's up to date.
Seriously, it made heaps of sense.
Yeah,
It was a good analogy. Just didn't go down well.
as it really does at church. Well, Chris, it is good to have you on this podcast. It is the Chip Lunch podcast, not your podcast.
Might start my own one soon.
Despite your best efforts, yeah.
I did Chip Dinner podcast.
Chip dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am an adult. I
Are
am
you
a
gonna-
father, so I can do dad jokes as well.
Yes, but are you going to be drinking soft drink on that one? Because you're saying you're going to be super healthy.
That's a prior conversation. Hopefully that one gets edited out. Drinking water
Not
today,
anymore.
everyone.
Now that you said that, drinking water today, guys. Usually,
I'm very nervous. That's why I keep sipping it when there's none left. Don't worry, I'm ready. I've done my nervous poop, so I'm ready. Hit me with whatever you want.
so good.
Ready to go.
Right. Well, the first question that we ask everyone every single time someone comes on the podcast: how do you like to eat your hot chips?
I can answer this by answering something else, and I'll do this a lot today. I'm not very good. It's become one of our Saturday lunchtime staples. Is we get a spit roast and we got a hot chicken, and I like to make a hot chicken roll at home with fresh roll, mayonnaise, and I love the stuffing. And then we also have the hot chips with it, smothered in gravy.
Oh.
So yeah, I guess the answer is smothered in gravy, but I wanted to add the chicken part because that's just adds to it as well.
So just so I understand it, so it's a roll with hot chicken on it.
Yeah, hot chicken.
Chips on top.
No. Chips to the side.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I've got to get used to this.
It's okay.
Yeah, so it's a hot chicken. It's a chicken roll.
Yeah.
With lots of mayonnaise, egg mayo, stuffing, chicken
Yep.
on a roll, and then the chips are to the side, covered in gravy.
With gravy.
So I like it with gravy. I'm not a big chips guy, but
You mean the size of the chip?
Oh no, it's just not a hot chips guy. Like I like them, but I don't go out of my way. But when you say chips, country kettle chili chips,
Oh.
I'm potato chips,
Yeah.
hot chips, and I'm a chips guy. I'm a chip connoisseur.
Crisps.
Oh.
To go with milk and
Milk.
mate, I love milk. You know, like you got those wine people that are just like can taste it, and
Yes.
I know what this is and which
vintage.
region and stuff. I can tell you about milk. I can tell you which milk it's
Oh.
where it's what cow it's from. No, I can't.
Okay,
But
so if we give you
I
some
just
milk,
really
you can
love
tell us
milk,
whether
yeah.
the cow is brown or black.
Yeah.
I'm upset. I don't see colour.
Saucer.
Oh,
of
okay,
milk.
of course not.
Get us a
I can
saucer
tell
of
by
milk.
that hat.
And the fluoro shorts that go with it.
That's the chip. Like we're saying, they're chip lunch
I'm not sure
shorts
if you
because
can
they're
see
like
it.
blue and pink.
Yep,
That's fast to
I
know and
didn't
then
do
to
it on
find out.
purpose, but
We'll
maybe
go
I
with
was
it.
just guided by someone.
God.
It's empty.
Stop drinking. You're doing fine, Chris.
Dave, can you put a count on the amount of times Chris takes a sip of an empty cup?
Ding. This is great. I enjoy myself so much. Did you say where you got those chicken rolls from? And the chips?
Spit roast at Sutherland.
Oh, Spirit Roast. Yeah, you said that. Sorry.
Next to Coles, so you can easily go and get your bread rolls.
Yeah.
$2.50 a pack of 6. Hamburger rolls.
Is this an ad for Coles? Dropped and locked?
I don't know. And get some milk as well.
There you go.
Saturday lunch,
What
come
a
round.
Saturday-
Anyone's
sounds
welcome.
like a
What a
great
If you bring-
Saturday. I'm sure you're watching footy,
Well,
are you?
yeah. Well, normally yes, but now it's off season. It's now hockey time, ice hockey.
Yes.
So
It's
that's
the-
my summer fling.
It's
So
the Philadelphia Flyers.
Philadelphia Flyers up here, bright orange, black and white. They've played. I'm pretty keen. I'm just looking at the watch. Just want to go home and watch today's game. Haven't seen it yet. So,
Thanks for choosing this over the Flyers.
well, I got my water. Got my free water. So you can
And you
taste
also,
it.
and
And I'm
you,
spitting too.
I mean, I suppose the other thing like will be playing out for a lot of this podcast is your love of rugby league.
Yes.
Hence you wearing the back-to-back Panthers
That's
shirt.
right.
So we can get into that too. But I suppose the first question that we like, the second question. Second question that we ask everyone is, how did you become a Christian?
How did I become a Christian? I grew up in a church. I went to another, out in Miranda, Anglican church. I grew up going to Sunday school with the family, but I wouldn't say I was Christian. I just went there because that's the family did. And it wasn't too long before football took over, footy. I was playing for the mighty Gymea Gorillas, and we started playing on Sunday. So I easily chose footy over church. So yeah, that was late primary school. So we're looking early 90s. Anyone keeping count? It wasn't till about year 7 that when I was in high school and everyone was going to Gymea Anglican youth group. And so I started going there. Actually,
You can't have any water.
There's a couple of sips left.
A couple of sips, so you're going to a few more.
Yeah, I started going there but, because I liked a girl who ended up marrying one of my good mates anyway, but that's another story. But what I can remember is one talk in particular, and it was from Stu, and you're going to hear today, Stu's going to play a big part in my life throughout my Christian walk. And I was reading in Corinthians. Corinthians is my book. I'll even talk about that later. I love Corinthians. That they talk about who they follow.
Yeah.
And I'm a disciple. Is it disciple? I'm a follower of Stu.
When they're looking like Paul and Apollos. and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. So I'm a follower of Stu, just because he sort of, it's never about him. It's always about pointing to Jesus. And the day he stops doing that, I'll drop him like a Nathan Cleary bomb. I just had to put that one in as well. Another Penrith thing. No, but like it's important that, so since year 8, which was 1994, I've been I'm not following Stu, but I sort of follow him in the way that I follow his teaching when he points towards Jesus. I like his style of ministry, and it's something that I agree with and I can do. So back in year 8, there was a talk, and I remember Stu saying it was about dogs, and if they can see colour.
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently dogs can't see colour, they can only see black and white, but that doesn't mean colour doesn't exist. And for some reason, that was just that little light bulb moment that sort of changed, and I went, oh, actually, maybe God is real. Like, just because we can't see it, just because we can only see black and white, doesn't mean that colour, which is God, is out there. So it's that's sort of the light bulb moment. That's the one that stuck with me. And then, I continued on from there, just growing and growing. So, but also, I touched on it before about Corinth. That's a big part of my life. Is in early 2000s. It was just a couple of days after September 11. I went overseas and travelled with a mate, and one of the stops in Europe was we went to Greece and we went to Corinth. And Corinth was the first city or town. It's not much of a place there now, but it was the first place. It was just physical. It was the Bible, but in physical. I'm standing where Paul's saying, this is where this happened. This is where this happened. And so when I say, I always go back to the book of Corinthians, is because that was the moment that it became real to me in a physical sense. So, so Corinthians, probably not most uplifting, great, like in that sort of like, I feel so reassured after reading Corinthians, but it does to me. So it always brings back those memories. So when I'm going down, when I'm having a downtime or I'm in trouble or, I don't know, just I'm doubting or something like that, I just go back and read Corinthians, and it sort of just gives me that peace, that reassurance, and it gives me back those times. What was your question again?
How
to become a Christian.
Yeah.
I think
when you became a Christian, so that was in year 8?
Year 8.
What do you think was different? What do you think changed for you? Like, was it noticeable?
I guess so, because I wasn't the most obedient or the well-behaved child. The fact that they were trying to expel me from primary school. I wasn't a bad kid. I just kept getting suspended all the time. I just did dumb things.
Yeah.
They now call it ADHD, which I don't think I've grown out of. But I sort of struggled in school.
It was just because you didn't enjoy the version of school that it was?
I don't know. I just, as I said, I did dumb things. Like one of the teachers went to sit down, so I pulled the chair out behind her and she fell on her butt, which is hilarious. But the school didn't think that was funny. The kids loved it. Those sort of things. And then I look back and that was dumb. And then I remember even in high school, the way it was you're in your class. If you get in trouble, you're on the special desk. If you get in trouble on the special desk, you get sent to what they call was the green room or the isolation room. And that was when I started going to youth group. So I actually started reading the Bible in there. So you're just in a room with a teacher, and you had your own lunchtime and stuff like that. So I went there a few times, read the Bible a few times. So I did change quite a lot, and just...
Were you convicted around that behaviour to a degree?
The behaviour was kind of out of body things.
Okay.
It was sort of, I did dumb things when I wasn't thinking, and then I realised afterwards when I was getting in trouble, I did a dumb thing. So again, I forgot what your question was, but anyway, so.
I'm just saying, if you became a Christian and that behaviour was part of your life, did that change?
Absolutely, because even when you see old friends, you go to high school reunions or stuff like that, and they go, "Wow, look, you're so different." So yes, it has. But yes, I have. It's been a big change in me. So
did anyone pick up on you reading your Bible in the isolation room? And they're like, "This doesn't make sense."
You're even supposed to do schoolwork, but I didn't even do that.
Yeah.
I never did schoolwork, and that's why I've got the job I do. Which I'm a glorified babysitter for men.
That's not true.
It's great. I'm a support worker with disabilities, so.
Yeah. But before we get there, there's a lot of history before then.
Sorry, there is.
So around year 8, you became Christian.
Yep.
You started going to youth group as well.
Yes.
What is it like from that point until the end of high school for you? And
That was definitely a change because I guess high school I was kind of lucky because I played footy, so socially I was accepted. Everyone sort of
sporty,
because I was good at footy. That helped as well, but it didn't help with the women at all, the girls. I always say, I don't know if you ever watch those college movies. And you got like the quarterback and the girls were all swooning over and the footy team and they all love him. And I'm that big fat like linebacker that was everyone's mate, but no one really wanted to date. I was that guy. So by the end, I sort of morphed into just being friends with. I did have a group of friends, but I sort of was friends with a lot of different groups. I was just a social butterfly-ish in that way. Just trying to think.
Did you find school hard?
Yes and no. My brain works. I was exceptional at maths. So for me, my brain works it's like
still are.
It's just to a degree. It's life. Life to me is just a puzzle. I like to. So maths was just like it's right or wrong. English, horrendous. I'm so bad at it. I'm not interested in it. I can't see things. I'm really oblivious to things that are right in front of me. So when I read books, they go on. I'm like, oh, this theme, and did you see this? I'm like, no, I just saw this straight line of this is the story went this way, and then I was like, oh, but it went like this and that, and then there's all these underlying issues. I'm like, no, I don't see those kind of things. So, I'll even go back to this is my faith. That's how I see it. That's why I'm so inspired by Corinth, because I'm a history guy. I like to see things that make sense, whereas I'm not a deep thinker. I'm not going to, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking, did God choose me or did I choose God? Those sorts of things. Like I do think about them and I do. But I'm more of I'm inspired by, when I listen to podcasts or read books, like people like John Dixon who just loves history and that sort of stuff. So that's how I live my faith in that way, as opposed to being a deep thinker. And I don't like philosophy, or it's too hard for me. So, but yeah, I'm at there. Oh, again, I forgot the question.
Oh, you don't need to. It's just more of a leading question. Do you want to have a question for Chris, Braden?
No.
Can I fill my drink up?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Me and Braden will talk while you fill up your drink. How do you think the podcast is going so far, Braden?
What are you doing, like a mid-season review?
Yeah.
Mid-podcast review?
Mid-pod review. What do you think?
Oh, I'm loving it. So
We've
far.
only really just started
They've
getting
only
into this
just
life.
scratched the surface.
Only just scratched the surface of what, something that has a hard patina on the outside. Well, we need to crack it. So how do you think we do that?
What is this, a game plan?
Yeah.
I think we go 4-4-2.
4-4-2.
Yeah, diamond in the middle though.
Oh.
I like a diamond formation.
I like a diamond formation, but we need to make sure our fullbacks push up because of the width.
Yeah.
We need some width on the side. But we should have made a rugby league tactic. What's a rugby league? I'll just put up a bomb.
Yeah, I don't
just
know.
smash it.
Not Nathan Cleary's, you'll drop it.
Matt Burton, bro. Anyway, I'm trying to think of where we were up to. Do you remember, so you'd gone to Sunday school, you'd had that experience with church, and now youth. What was different? What did you really enjoy about going to youth group? Or maybe you didn't
Firstly,
enjoy it at all?
it's easy to answer that one because I wanted to go to youth group.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike Sunday school. It was fine. I did get a base sort of knowledge and get an idea, and I've had to live it out. But I just wanted to play footy. I was a bit naughty as well, and always
Why
getting
did you
in
love
trouble.
footy? Because there was that puzzle aspect to it, or like a math. I reckon the physicality for you was probably
Physicality for
good.
sure.
Yeah,
because that's how I played footy. Because I was such a big kid.
and straight lines.
Yeah, exactly. I'd just pick up the ball and run over everyone and score. But it wasn't until later on, when everyone else grew up, that I found it really difficult because I never built up those fundamental skills of passing, kicking, and all those sort of things. I tried to run over the top and I'd just get hammered.
So you were kind of like a forward to begin with, but then as everyone got bigger than you didn't have.
So I started in the second row, then to the centres, and then I played fullback my last season. I remember I got knocked out 3 times in a row. Sorry, not 3 times, 3 times that year. And so I was sort of like, oh, jeez, maybe not for me. It was actually wrong.
How's the CTE discussion?
Well, I did. Well,
yeah.
Maybe we could talk about it because I am struggling.
Yeah, okay.
I won't get too deep for it. Because I played my grand final and we're on Rev Camp back in year 9 or something, and was down at Gerringong. So I came back up to play my grand final and then came back down, and we're sitting in a group that night, and all of a sudden I just collapsed out in the blue. So I did get concussed that day, and we had no idea about that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was the thing. I just fell over, and then I get up. I remember Kath Breen was there, and she's asking me questions. I'm like, I've got no idea where I am, what I'm doing, or anything like that. So that's another story. That was on Rev Camp. Fee, the one time she went to bed early and left us up, and that happened.
So I remember if I was on that camp.
No, you weren't, because this is when I was in.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking, this is 97.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah, okay. So Rev Camp, if anyone's listening, is when it was Gymea Anglican, we had Rev 21, which was year 9 and 10 youth group. 10, and then we went on a camp as well, once a year.
Yeah.
As a youth camp. Right, so if you're playing footy, did you finish high school?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't for me. I did year 10, I started year 11, and it was just sort of like, what am I doing here? I ended up getting an opportunity to work I was working at Macca's part-time, and I ended up trying to go into management. It sort of all worked out well in the end. It's just sort of, school wasn't for me, so I started working at McDonald's. Was at Miranda Express, which is no longer there, and then I got
I think the funny thing is that we worked out that you were working for my dad.
I never actually worked for your dad.
Yeah. But he opened the Express.
Yeah, but when I got there, he wasn't there.
Yeah,
he was only at Miranda, at the other one, down the food court, which is still there, because they were separate.
Yeah, they were.
After whatever, I don't know what happened. I wasn't around then. Then I went to Waterloo, of all places. I got transferred over there. So
McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's at Waterloo. That's when I was living at the Pad. I'm sure we'll get to that soon.
I would love to get to that.
Plenty of stories from that. Yeah. Working there. And then that's when I sort of got a job working at a gym in the city as a laundry attendant, of all things. Just got it through a friend. And that opened up doors to get into personal training. So I got into personal training through that. Worked at a wonderful gym in the city with some B and C grade celebrities, we'll call them. It was a gym owned by Channel 9 and it's ACP, which is a magazine company. There's like 2 magazine companies. There's like Women's Day, TV Week, Rugby League Week. I used to get it free every week. They bring it down for me. That's why I stayed there. Yeah. But when the owner died, they sold off the business. So I started a franchise outdoor business and did that for a couple of years. It turned into a sales job. That wasn't me. So I got into, that's when I got married. I sold the business. I needed a job. I got into the industry I'm in now to just buy some time to want to get into paramedics. But 13 years later, I'm still working here and never applied for paramedics. So I love what I do. I really do. So it's fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
Thanks for that CV.
So I'm just looking for a new job now.
I was checking your LinkedIn profile. I think you hit everything on there.
What else have I done?
But like, if you finish school, what about church though at that time? Because from what I know of you got more and more involved.
Yeah, no, I got pretty involved fairly early on. So when I get into something, I get into something. I don't half. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of a word that doesn't swear. Half buttocks. I don't half buttocks anything. I'm trying to think. See, this is a long time ago. So you sort of get to year 10. So you finish year 10, then you go to year 11, which was the Solis. Which was
Gymea.
Gymea, the Solis, the adults youth group.
Yeah, 11 and 12 and up.
Till you get to, Stewie's the oldest? So 70, 80? I used to always pay him out, but
wasn't that old.
I know. I remember going to his 30th birthday. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm hanging out with some guy this old. Yeah, I'm 41 now, so
Yeah.
I was 18 back then. Yeah, so I was definitely, and then I came back and started leading year 7 till year 10. Then did I go back? I must have gone back to year 7. Did I do it? I'm not sure if I did it again or did I lead leaders? I don't know, but I was leading. Whatever the case was, I was leading their youth group. So until I didn't, which was a lot later.
Now, there's obviously within that leadership, the birds are going a bit crazy. Yeah. There's obviously, like in this leadership story, there's like a very momentous moment when you met me, because you were my leader.
Yes. I remember meeting Heather.
That's a different person. That is a different
I was just trying to think of someone that wasn't you. And I couldn't say Greaves because people wouldn't believe me he's that young. So I didn't want to age myself. Because you...
I only started
I'm just
coming
trying
in
to
year 9.
think because I remember going to chip lunch at Gymea High.
Yes. That was a big...
And then you guys still pay me out about... I may have done a little mishap. I can't remember what it was. I got 2 books mixed up.
Yeah, I can definitely remember.
Colossians.
He's like, well, guys, you're like, because you were such a joker around, and then you like try to be serious, and he goes,
Yeah,
well, guys, we're going to read from Colossians today. It's mixing up Colossians and Thessalonians.
That's it. Thessalonians. I couldn't think there for a moment.
But I think you were a big reason why we kept coming to youth group was because you kept turning up and seeing us at Scripture on Tuesday Arvos. Because at Gymea High, there was an optional Tuesday afternoon Scripture lesson that everyone was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I can't remember when you guys were in, like it, because I was over there for a while because there was another group, I guess you can call them, before like another.
It would have been like 2000.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in school, I used to skip sport on a Tuesday afternoon to come to Gymea High.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was in like year 12 or year 11.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to be a bit naughty.
That would have been...
Of all things, skipping sport. Like, geez.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, year 9 for us would have been 2001. So that might have been...
I was way...
So
I've
with
been finished.
Yeah, the
Because
second...
if I stayed in school, it would have been 99, class of 99.
Yeah, okay.
So... But I was going around about that time. So
what attracted you to doing leadership? What were you keen on?
Well, I guess I'm just sharing the passion of what I had, and that was Jesus and the promises that He gives us. The reason why we're still here all today, nothing's changed about that. I'm still passionate about telling people about Jesus as much as I can. May not be the best at doing it, but I give it a crack. And then sometimes just my life. It shows that. But yeah, I guess that's why I kept doing it. It's as simple as that. That was all. I guess that's what you do. I wasn't looking for any, it wasn't a job. It wasn't doing it for some credit or anything. That's what you do.
Did the experience you had with the people that had led you, like just
absolutely,
you want to do the same
absolutely.
thing?
So I was just trying to not mimic, but I guess so. Of people before me, like Fee, Tim Baldwin, there's heaps of other people, Stewie, that did that for us. I want to do it for them, like for you guys, the next generation, because it's important. And I enjoyed doing it. So I wasn't very good at it, but I enjoyed doing it. So, yeah.
Was there and a number of people that we've had on this pod, they've said that it's like they were almost searching for belonging. Is that what you felt in becoming a Christian and being part of a community shaped by Jesus? Was that something really that had an impact on you?
So you have to say that one again.
Well, like a lot of people have said that they were looking for belonging.
So why I joined
before becoming a Christian. And I'm wondering if it was that the case for you?
No, I don't think that was a huge... Like it was, but I wouldn't say that was huge because I was very comfortable in me, and I still am. Like I am who I am, and I'm my own biggest fan. When it comes to comedy, my goodness, I laugh so hard. No one else does, but I find it hilarious. So I've always been comfortable. As I said, I I was a footy player. I wouldn't say popular, but I had a group around me. I had a social group. So this was just better. This just made sense.
Why was it better than what you had at school?
Because those people didn't offer me anything in eternity or anything like that. So it was a way of life. It was a way of life, prioritizing a way of life. I guess that's what it was that kept me there and changed me. So, and as you grow and get to know Jesus, get to know the people, what it is to live for God, the other people weren't that important. Like, I wasn't searching for that.
And you're not getting the same thing out of that
Yeah.
group as you were, yeah.
So I don't, I wasn't, to answer your question, no, I was looking for belonging because I had belonging. It just, my priorities changed. So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. What's an example of the priorities changing? Like, do you have a clear example, like made a decision that you would usually make before you were a Christian, or at least, around the time you became a Christian, to then going, oh, I don't do that anymore?
I know this seems trivial.
No.
But the fact that I started taping Panthers games and going to Solis or Rev and then watching them afterwards.
Like when they played on a Saturday night?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was when Foxtel and Optus Vision first came out.
Yeah.
Or if they were on Channel 9 or something, I used to tape it. And I used to have to hang around because you were on the VCR, so you have to wait till it finished recording, then you have to rewind it. So that's what's kept me late at youth group. I know that sounds trivial, but those kind of things...
you were willing to give up something.
Willing up to give up something.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important because some people with church never get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
They never get to the point where they're willing to give anything up. It's just like, if I don't have anything on, then I might go to church this week.
And I want to give you
a pretty big step. Like,
I want to give you a bit of an example. I know this is going to sound like I'm trying to tell a joke, but I'm actually getting a bit serious. Like when Rachel comes to me and she said, is it me or the Panthers? And I know the answer is Rachel. I'm always going to pick Rachel, but it's a tough decision and it's nothing to do with Rachel. I'm not telling a joke here, but it just goes to show how passionate I am about the Panthers. Like, it's not an easy decision. Like, it is, but it's not in a way. Like, there was like, it should be easy. It would be like, oh, Rachel, easy. But it was like, Rachel, in that way. So, yeah, I love it. I don't know. It's like a drug.
What is it about the Panthers, though? So why did you? Why did you pick the Panthers?
I can tell you that.
Firstly, why? Okay, why did you pick the Panthers?
As a kid, I loved footy. You probably sort of picked that up so far. I just loved it. I didn't really have a team. I didn't like the Sharks because they were the local team.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
It was just like everyone else that I liked them. I just didn't really care too much for them. But Dad took me to a Panthers game, Panthers versus the Sharks at Shark Park, and all it was one of the players, Brad Izzard. I put my hand up, I was, hey, and he came over and gave me a high five.
Right.
And as a young kid, it was 1989, Shark Park. I can't tell you which round. I should because I got a photographic memory when it comes to footy. Ask me anything, I can tell you. But anyway, and it was just that. And I'm like, wow, he made that effort. Like, he's my hero now. And then, and I told you, I if I'm into something, I'm 100% into it or I'm not.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's how I became it. And then it just evolved from there. And it wasn't too long after they won the grand final. After that, some terrible times.
And what year did they win?
91.
91, okay.
So this was 1989. They made the semis or something. 1990, they made the grand final, lost. 91, they won. And I'm just like, ooh, I don't know how old I was. 91, year 4.
So 9 or 10?
Yeah, something like that. I got little photos of me in my Panthers shirts and stuff. But I just got into it. At one stage, I had every Panthers game from 1996 till about 2010 on VCR, or VHS, sorry. And I still watch it. Like, I don't watch VHSs now, but
I remember. I mean, we spent a lot of time together.
I still watch it,
and I remember the shelves and shelves of VHS tapes.
It's only recently I threw them out.
Yeah,
just because they were old, they didn't work, and
But you can also access them
Just
differently.
yeah,
YouTube.
it's a bit
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my passion for that. Yeah, I'm trying to. There's no segue into analogy. I'm trying to. There's one of the things I really wanted to talk about was is my addictive nature and how I am 100% in, 100% off. So, like next week, I'm going to start another 16-week training program because I love triathlons.
Yeah.
And I get so obsessed. I got my training plan every day. I need to know exactly what I do, and I do it to a T. I'm so disciplined, so disciplined. As soon as that race is finished, I do nothing. I'm so bad. I'm just lazy. I'm not disciplined, and that's one of the things I struggle with my faith as well. Is that in my addictive nature of triathlon programs, suddenly next week you watch how super Christian I am. Because I'm suddenly disciplined and I'm into a routine, I'm into this, I'm reading my Bible, I'm in my prayers. So one of my big goals in life, I'm sure everybody else has the same thing, is consistency. I'd love a consistent relationship with God. I know his is consistent, but mine's not. So I know it's everyone's struggle, but yeah, as I said, I'm very disciplined or I'm very not disciplined.
Yeah.
So when I'm training, if I look fit, I'm Christian fit. When I look slobby and fat, I'm Christian fat. PHAT. What does that mean? It was like pretty... Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, I said that to Ray. I said, man, you're fat. Because I'm trying to be dope and like from the streets. Because I'm 40 now, so I'm trying to... But it's pretty hot and...
Sounds like you're from the 90s streets.
Yeah,
though.
pretty hot and something with a T.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's what it stood for. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, I only learned it recently.
Oh.
So I used it, and not everything goes down well as you think. Don't ever call your wife fat.
Okay. So you mentioned that you went to the gym. You're working in the gym. But how is that like? Are you having to go in there heaps early? Like if you're working in a gym, are you working for like the early hours and you have to get all the way from the Shire into the city as well, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm a morning person, which didn't go well when I married Rachel because she's a night person. It was great for when we had kids and babies. So when you have to get up, I was always good in the morning. She was good at night. But mornings didn't bother me. So one of the big things I achieved in life, I was very proud of it. I did Bike for Bibles a couple of times, but we rode from Perth to Sydney over 30 odd days. And that was raising money for the Bike for Bibles. Is it the Bible Society? And it was raising money for a literacy program in Africa. I don't know exactly where it was, but it was a literacy program. So it was killing two birds with one stone. It was giving them life skills of literacy and to help them grow and whatever, just get jobs, but also teaching them about the Bible as well. So that was great. So I don't know how old I was. It was 2006-ish, I think it's 5 or 6 or something like that. 34 days, 4,400 kilometres on the bike. So I used to train by riding my bike to work in the city, which is about 30 Ks. I'd do 2 spin classes in a row. Then I'd ride my bike home. Then I'd catch a train back into work and then do my shift and then catch a train back. But back in the day, because we didn't have like YouTube or stuff, I used to have a little portable DVD player. So it was perfect 40-minute train trip, watch an episode of CSI. Loved it. But yeah, so yeah, I can't remember what the question was, but I cannot remember what you asked me. You need to write a list in front of me. So
I black out when he starts talking to you.
I just black out as soon as Joel. Yeah.
I'm just checking. So you're working at the gym.
Yes.
So you ride into the gym.
Yes.
At what time?
I'd leave at I'd have to get there by 5, so probably about 4.
Okay.
I'd get up at 3:45.
So you'd ride into the gym.
Yep.
Do 2 spin classes.
Yep. 2 45-minute spin classes.
So what time?
And
so like
when I was talking about celebrities,
6:30,
my spin instructor was Michelle Bridges from The Biggest Loser.
Oh, really?
This is before she was famous. So that's how she got famous. She had connections there. Anyway, so yeah, and then I'd ride home again.
Then you ride home.
Yeah.
So you're home by about 7:30, something like that.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but then you get back on the train.
Yeah,
and then do a
but
shift
around about lunchtime.
and then do a
Yeah.
later shift at the gym.
Yeah. So I'd leave home about 11.
Wow.
So yeah, that was
So
my
that's
life.
the discipline thing that you're talking
Yes.
about, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me now. Like when I was training, I'm doing triathlons. Like I start work at 6 a.m. on a Friday, so I'll get up at 4:30,
And
do my hour run, and go to work, have my shower and breakfast, and then start work.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's got to be done. Like if it's there, I've got to do it. So challenge me and I'll do it. Yeah. That's how I even got started into that whole. You know, I'd finished playing footy because it just wasn't my thing. I'm not a very good team player. And I mean that because I put so much pressure on myself that I hate letting people down. So then I realized you can do individual sports and you don't have to let a whole team down. You just let yourself down. So I got into, it all started, it was after the bike ride. I think I did the bike ride. And then I thought, maybe I'll do a marathon because someone said you couldn't do a marathon. So I said, I'll do it. They said, yeah. So I just challenged myself and did a marathon. And then I'm like, I actually really like running and I really like bike riding. All I got to do is figure out this swim thing. And then, yeah. And so then all I thought about was I want to do an Ironman. And so it probably took, which is for anyone, if you don't know what an Ironman triathlon is, it's a 4K swim, 180K bike ride, and then you finish with a marathon just to. So that became my obsession. But that took years to get to. So,
But you did it, right?
yeah, I did it in 2015.
In like Cairns?
In Cairns, yeah. So I only had 2 kids at that stage. It was a lot easier to find time to train. Finished that in 12 hours and then passed out at the end and felt terrible. And then I got to go into the medic tent. They put a drip in me. Oh my goodness, it is so good. Yeah. If you ever need a drip, man.
Isn't that what people like when they have like a big night out or something?
Yeah, they
like
go
they
to Vegas and get
on a drip. Yeah, because it rehydrates you.
Yes, it's the best thing ever. So then I did another one in a couple of years later over in New Zealand, over in Wanaka. And it was amazing because me and Rachel were like, yes, we can go away. We're going to, like, just us two. We left the kids, 2 kids at mum and dad's. We'd planned, we're going to go bungee jumping. We're going to go jet boat riding. We were wine tasting. We were near a vineyard thing. And she got pregnant. So none of that happened. Still did the triathlon, but so, yeah.
So we're jumping around a fair bit.
We are. Sorry, that's me.
No. It's actually fun because that's what we're doing. I did see that I looked up some of the fat definitions. You might like this one, pursuing holiness and truth.
Yeah, that was pretty. I should have gone with that one. What did I say?
Preaching holy apocalyptic truth.
No, apostolic, not apocalyptic.
What was it? Apocalyptic. I'm like, wow, getting full fire and brimstone going.
Preaching holy apostolic truth.
Oh, yes.
And then there's one at the top is pretty hot and tempting.
Yeah, that's probably the one I used.
Or pretty hot and thick.
No, it wasn't that one. I know what happens when you say that.
Yeah.
And I like the lounge, but not that much.
Pelvis, hips, abs, and thighs.
Yeah,
Pre-teams have awesome time.
I'd be pretty keen to move on before it gets really controversial.
All right, please hurl at trash can.
You got yourself in a lot of trouble. I told you there'd be controversy.
Here's the title of your podcast: Pretty Healthy and Tasty. That's pretty good. Please have another tomato. You're talking about like going to the gym and stuff, but you also mentioned the pad, and I don't think people know what that is. Can you give us
the pad? So this is before I went away. So it'd be I don't know what years was before 2000. Robbie Jones and Jai McMorty decided they needed to live out at home, and they had a spare room. And I said, I'll take it. Yeah. So 3 young men, well, 1 young man and 2 mature men. So it just turned into the drop-in house. Yeah. And even to I'm not sure if we were in the wilderness at that stage where we didn't have a venue.
I don't think so.
So
because
it was used a lot.
The only reason I say that is I think my first night at Rev, maybe ever, or second night at Rev, was at the pad, and it was
it was called the Bachelor Pad. Okay,
the inflatable boxing thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. There was
Yeah.
it was like the second week I went to Rev. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the?
is this like?
Yeah, it was just the bachelor pad.
Yeah,
So,
because you were all single. Is that right?
well,
No.
only me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or maybe they got. Oh, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's all
I,
right.
can't give you the
remember the
timeline of
timeline.
datings,
Yeah.
and I had no one. I didn't have anyone till later on.
That's a story in its.
There's a story in itself.
There's
so-
a big story in that
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
And I can even bring it back to something we talked about earlier, when being like my English essays, I'm so oblivious to things. Anyway, so yeah, it was just the bachelor pad. It was just the hangout. There was a drop-in centre for everyone. And it was just,
from church and stuff.
yeah, from church. It was just, it's always people around. So, and it really wore me down at the end as well, because it was just hard to get sleep. Because I was working, we're all working, but people, and there everyone was in uni at that stage. So it was just spelt disaster for us. It was great. It was great for a couple of years, and then it was too much. So, yeah, plenty of stories, plenty of late nights, plenty of fun. I remember that was when Robbie bought a DVD player. So that's just dating it a little bit. And it was the first, like, we were just like, wow, a DVD. So, yeah, it's dating that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to spend a lot of, it was good hanging out with those two guys as well. Like it was, yes, we had a lot of fun, a lot of, not parties, but just hanging out. But it was good just being with some godly men, living and sharing as well. I've got to keep bringing it back because I keep talking about myself a lot too much. I'm aware of that.
That's the point of the podcast, though.
I know,
isn't it?
but yeah, I don't want to be dropped like a Nathan Cleary bomb.
Oh, God,
Someone might be
that's
following me.
the third time that you've said that.
He's that good at kicking.
Is he?
Is he? I don't know. I don't watch rugby
I just
league.
said that to get the reaction out of him.
I
What
do.
about this overseas trip? What did it involve? Where did you go?
Well, as an 18-year-old, we went to Europe, and as you'd expect as an 18-year-old, where they got what's that party tour?
Kontiki.
Kontiki tour.
Kontiki.
Of course, we didn't do that. No, it was great. It was just us two, me and my mate Juz. We just went to England. It was quite a historical sort of trip. So we went to England, then we went to Paris. Then we went to Switzerland, and we actually went to Le Brie. I wish I took advantage of that place. I was way too young. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Le Brie.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Stewie said we had to go there, so we did. We stayed there. I was so out of my depth. I was just a young 18-year-old Christian with just these guys. It was awesome, but like, I just felt like the biggest Duffy.
Fraud.
Like, yeah, I was just like, these guys are such good Christians, and it was inspiring. It was awesome just to learn from them, just hear them, and there was a magician there as well. That was fun. So I can tell you that was 2001 because I missed the grand final because I was at Le Brie, and I remember looking at a dial-up computer to look up the score of Parramatta versus Newcastle. So I can remember everything about footy.
There you go.
Um,
And you went to Corinth, obviously.
Yeah, so first we went to that, then we went to Italy, then we travelled around Italy on a tour, and it was just old people, and they loved us. These two young kids and these old people, we were just their grandkids. It was awesome. So we just went around to different places, Pompeii, and top of my head can't think of anything, but I guess we started at Rome. But all these great places, and then we travelled to Greece. We went to Athens. From Athens, then we travelled down to Corinth, and that's when that happened. Also, I remember going to Corinth, and because there's Corinth and there's Aqua Corinth, which is Corinthians set, which is about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes drive from actual Corinth, New Day Corinth. And I remember, what do we do in this town? There's nothing to do. So we went to the movies, and it was English, but with Greek subtitles. So everyone else is reading it. We're just sitting back watching it. It was Planet of the Apes.
The Mark Wahlberg one? I'm trying to
Maybe.
think.
Well, it was in 2001.
Yeah.
So
That sounds about
Yeah.
right, doesn't it?
I remember silly facts like this, but
Yeah.
ask me something about the Bible. I struggle to remember it. So, I just remember traveling there. It's such a really good tour. It was on,
Yeah.
was it? Corinth is down the bottom. There's a big hill. There's a big mountain. I can't remember whereabouts that is. We're talking like 20 odd years ago. I'm trying to remember stuff. A lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we went back to Greece, to Athens. I remember there was a big concert and the girls were going crazy. I don't know who this guy was, but we called him Greeky Martin. It's just like, it was hilarious. We were just going nuts.
Greeky Martin.
Yes. And then we went down to Crete, did a bit of touring down there, and then we ran out of money, so we had to come home. So that's our travels. But yeah, again, it's just, if you ever have the opportunity, do something like that.
Yeah, right.
I wish I did a tour there as well. Like, we just did our own stuff in Corinth, but they did have tours. We were a bit strapped for cash because it would have been good to hear it firsthand. But we bought these little books and walked around. It's not a very big area.
Made of it what you could.
Yeah. But as I said, I love Corinthians.
So it's only when you were 18. So that must have been before you went into the pad. Is that right?
No, because the pad must have finished in 2001.
Okay. So then you travelled after that.
Yeah. No, yeah. Then I travelled and then I had to go home because I had no money.
And did you go back to the gym?
Maybe I started the gym after that.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's too hard.
That's all right.
Too old.
That's fine.
I'm senile. Too many hits to the head.
What's the next stage of your life, though?
Would probably, I'd have to say Rachel. So,
I love this story.
yeah.
It's just funny. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about before about how the sort of system worked in youth group. In a Gaimir, you sort of go through and you lead, you do some leading, then you go back, and then ideally you lead the leaders, which was Joel and that. Yeah. I think I went through with you guys again.
Did
we went fully with you guys?
Yeah, you did. So
and then we went back again.
Yeah, so you led me through year 9 and year 10.
Yeah.
And then we were at Solis together in year 11 and 12. But then there was, I finished year 12, and then there was 2 years before I started leading again. And you came back when I was leading. Me and Michael and I went back along with Jared and Pete Waddington, and we were all together.
Okay,
and you were leading us,
yeah,
like a leader of the leaders kind of thing, coordinator. And you did it all the way up until I think when we were leading year 9, and then you stepped back.
Yeah, I was still around because I remember having Callie, and not that I was leading, but I was around. Anyway,
I remember Rachel had. Sorry if this is people listening. It's personal stories, but Rachel had Kelly when we were leading Stiebels.
Yeah. So
okay. So it would have been around that time.
Yeah. So I was just leading. I was leading the leaders, and I had Rachel was Rachel. There was Rachel. There was Joel. There was Pete. There was Ruben.
She led in the same year.
Yeah, she said in that thing. So she was around, and we just sort of started speaking of the devil. Look who's not the devil, the wonderful wife. Yeah, we were leading. We weren't. I was just leading. We were just slowly becoming friends. I was very oblivious to it. It was funny that the other week we had the 30th anniversary Australia Revival, and there was this. What was it? It was a T-shirt with Revive Camp 07.
Yep.
And it was 07. And we looked at it and we went, oh, that was the first time we started not hanging out, but we just sort of
chatting and
became closer as friends. Still oblivious. But yeah, I remember
was she not? Is that what?
I don't know.
Okay.
I got no idea. But I was enjoying hanging out with her, but no more than enjoying hanging out with you, and I wasn't hanging out with you then.
No.
But he was there.
Was he?
07.
You might have been there.
Oh.
Well, we were there as leaders, but you might have been there as...
No, I think I was the next
year. Okay.
08, I think.
Yeah, anyway, so it wasn't until later on we were going out for dinner with a group of friends, and we just drove together, and we were sitting out the front at Sans Souci, and we sat out. It was waiting for everyone because we got there first. It was across the road from Papa John's. Okay. There was a little cafe thing, and there was a little florist. It was closed, and we sat out on these benches, and we're talking about another couple. We're just doing a bit of gossiping, who were hanging out at that time. And I made the comment, "You don't hang out with someone that much unless you really like them." And that was the first time it dawned on me. I'm like, I've spent every single day the last 2 weeks with you, Rachel. I'm like, oh crap, maybe I like you. Because when she first came to Solly's, she was so, she was a bit too full on for
Are you
me.
going to say she was so annoying? Is that what
Yeah, no, I'll say it. I'll say it to her. I still say it to her face. You're annoying. No. No, she's just a bit too full on for me. So, but yeah, and then she mellowed down and and then we ended up, so we did discuss our feelings at that stage. Then we had to wait a little bit because I wanted to wait till the grand final finished.
Why?
Because I was busy.
Only on the weekend.
Anyway, so it was the day after the grand final. She came around, we watched a movie.
Is this the 07 grand final? Or the 08? 07.
Yeah, good question.
After Revive.
I don't know who played.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought you had a photograph from memory.
Yeah, but I was too in love. Anyway, so then the next night, it was a public holiday.
Probably.
The next night, we went out for dinner again,
Yeah.
just with some friends. And then she ended up coming back to my place. And then we watched a movie, which was, I know Cuz, this is Cuz's, if anyone knows Cuz from church here.
Oh, Paul Cousins.
Yeah, Paul Cousins. If you want to know me, know him. We are identical in so many ways. It's not funny because there's this movie called Perfect Catch with Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore.
It's a good one. That's pretty good.
And it's about they have this wonderful romantic time and they court each other and they fall in love and it's the best thing. Then the baseball season starts. And then yada yada.
I mean, Richard should be happy. I mean, there's how many rugby league games are there in a season?
20.
Well, nowadays there's 8 a weekend.
No, I meant just for Panthers. Just
Just
go with
one a weekend. Well,
Panthers.
then there's reserve grade and
Yeah, okay.
I'd watch
Just
anything.
First grade Panthers, how many games do they play in a season?
20 or 25
Yeah.
now or something.
Yeah.
And
Well,
plus
then-
we're playing finals all the time now. So.
Yeah. But like that movie's about the
29 of the
Boston
most.
Red Sox who play like 160 odd
Yeah,
games
yeah,
in a season. So, you know.
Anyway, so we watched that, and I said, look, if you want to go out with me, this is what it's going to be like. You're going to play second fiddle in winter. So, and she said, I could deal with that. And she did. She's dealt with it.
Still has.
She still has.
does.
So, yeah, we ended up getting married. We had a reception at Panthers. And yeah, that's where we're at.
And kids too.
Yeah, 3 kids. My first one.
Tell us about your girls.
Let me answer this one first.
Oh, hang on.
Rick. They're there? Okay. All right, we can finish this up now. I'll go get her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I'll finish
We
it
have to
up.
leave this in.
Yeah.
I'm not even halfway
I
through
can
the
finish
story,
this
I
up,
feel like.
I'm done with them anyway. I'm bored.
This is part 1, Chris.
Yeah. Might have to be part 2.
Joel and Braden. I'll go get her now, okay?
I reckon the
Okay,
mic's
no
picked that
worries.
up there.
All right. Okay, I'll talk to Sam. Yeah, I will. Okay, so when I was saying before I have 4 kids, I now have 3 kids. I have Callie, Pippa, and now Bonnie's up for sale. She's driving Rachel's thing. But yeah, we'll have to wrap up very quickly now.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
Kids.
to be continued.
Yeah. To be
I would love to
continued.
keep going.
Do you
This
want
is
to do
fun.
We'll do another
I
one.
haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes.
Yeah, but we've got time.
Just give me one more question and then I'll...
All right. Wait. I just hint. CTE. What has being a dad? We'll leave the CTE to the next episode. What has being a dad? What has God taught you about being a dad, or by helping you become a dad, or being a dad?
It's one of the hardest things, or what I noticed really early was I keep talking about how much I love Ray. I hope that's obvious because I do, but I found it really interesting that I could love Ray because I made a promise at the front of church that I would love only her, which turned out to be a lie really quickly because I fell in love with 3 other girls very quickly, and it's weird that how odd love is. That I could love Rachel and I could love Callie, Pippa and Bonnie the same way. Well, sorry, love this as much.
Just as much.
But different. So it's just a complicated thing. So yeah, I just... It's hard to describe how you love your kids and that how much they continually I'll use the word disappoint in the way that they behave, they don't do what they should, yet I still love them regardless.
Yeah. You can't stop loving them.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it has been said very occasionally, I hate you, Dad. And I've said that, well, I haven't said that to God, but I've demonstrated that to God. So it's seeing love in a different way. So I think that's the thing, the biggest, and patience as well, which has very much helped me with work as well, because you need a lot of patience in my job and just dealing with people. People are difficult. So patience, love, and I'll leave you with that.
Nice. Well, we'll record another part too, because you've got to go pick up your daughter, one of your daughters, Callie, right now.
I do.
But thank you for being on.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you very soon.
It's a pleasure. I hope it wasn't too controversial, because I had to edit myself a bit.
No, that's
That'll
fine.
be fine.
That's fine. Do you want to finish it with one way?
Yeah, there's a one way, but I'm hoping that's one way to more downloads for the podcast.